As a YouTube content creator, it's a good question to ask, how often can you recycle? You know that I like to try and come up with new content on a consistent basis. However, sometimes I think it's okay to go revisit something you did before. In the collectible community, there are exceptions that you should never do that with. So for example, you should never review a statue you've already reviewed. However, on this channel, I've done 160 plus different countdowns. Well, eventually you run out of countdown ideas. However, I'm almost done with my throne display forever. Almost 25 different throne statues. And I felt it would be a good idea to do a countdown of which of those throne statues is the best. But I feel like I've done that before, so I went back and researched this video that I did 4 years ago. Well, a lot has changed in 4 years. I mean, think about it. There were no wars going on 4 years ago. Now there's like so many I can't keep track of. One bag of groceries now costs $100 instead of $20. The Chiefs are still the Super Bowl champion. That hasn't changed. Anyway, with so many changes, I thought it would be okay to do it again. And in full transparency, I'm just trying to fill in content. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are talking about statues. Specifically, we're talking about throne statues. You know, throne statues became a rage in the statue collecting community about 5 years ago or so, and I went all in. I have an entire wall of throne statues. Some of my throne statues aren't even on that wall because they go with other displays though. So today I'm going to talk to you about 24 throne statues, 4 which I have coming in, and 20 that are on the wall right now, and we're going to do a countdown from my least favorite to my most favorite. Now before we start that countdown, what do you think is the best throne statue of all time? Whether it's one you've owned or you've just seen in pictures. Throw that down in the comments below because we're getting really close to our next giveaway. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Now before we count down the 20 I have, I do want to talk about the 4 that I have coming in or possibly coming in. 2 here are ones I haven't purchased yet. I'm going to wait until they come out, but 2 I do have on order. The first 2 are customs. One is this giant Magneto on throne. This was actually part of some controversy a while back, but I have this on order. I suspect it'll come by the end of the year 2024. Another one is this custom Venom on throne. Now this was kind of a unique piece, so make sure to stay tuned for the review. You could have gotten a combo of Venom and Knoll, but I already have a Knoll on throne, which you'll see in the countdown. Now the 2 I haven't ordered, but I have a feeling I might. One is Prime One Studios Bane. Really like this statue. I wrote a blog about it on theextremechannel.com, so make sure to check that out. I do daily blogs on theextremechannel.com. And the last one, I really like their dark side. Despite the fact I have a dark side, you're going to see, maybe I will switch up. Now, there are 20 I currently own. We're going to count them down from my least favorite to my most favorite. Number 20 is one of my least favorites simply because it is so small. It's actually 1/5 scale where the majority are 1/4 scale. And honestly, I think this might even pass for a 1/6, but it's the old Sideshow Ultron Comiquette. So this is the exclusive, kind of a cool stance. I would have loved a really elaborate Ultron. I would have loved this one to be even bigger, but for that reason, it is my least favorite. Number 19 may be the opposite. It's Galactus on throne. It doesn't sit well with the others because we know Galactus is supposed to be really big. So while this isn't quarter scale, I don't even know what scale it is, maybe 1/10 or 1/20th, it just doesn't fit with the other cosmic pieces I have in thrones, probably due to the size, although it's a decent statue. 18 probably falls in solo because it's an older statue. This custom Halima King Hulk on throne. You know, I actually did a video comparing this to the new Queen Studios, and of course the new Queen Studios was better, but the fact is this was half the price, and it's still a decent statue, but it is definitely outdated compared to the rest of the ones we're going to look at. Number 17 is that dark side I might switch up. Now the reason this is probably lower is because he's standing. I think that alone takes away from everything, and there's too much gray in this. Otherwise, it's a fantastic statue, but those 2 things alone kind of make it number 17. Number 16, I think, is a little bit underscaled compared to the rest, is this Thor. So this is actually a different storyline. You can see Thor has a robotic arm, and there's a few other things going on there. He has Thanos' smashed head. I've owned this for quite a while, and I think it's a fantastic piece, but it's just not as good as some of the other ones we're going to look at, including number 15, this custom Magneto. I will probably be trading this one for that other one I have on order because I don't see a need for 2 Magneto on Thrones, even though I've owned like 3 other ones. So this is a great piece. It was one that I didn't expect to be as good as it is, but I love how he built the throne out of pieces of his enemy. To me, that's kind of a quintessential thing when it comes to thrones. Number 14 is Mr. Sinister. Again, one I've had for a long time. This is specifically the Age of Apocalypse Mr. Sinister. You can see some trophies he had in there, whether it's Wolverine's claw or Cyclops' head. Very cool piece, still holds up. Not a lot of Sinister statues out there, which is crazy for him being such a quintessential villain. Number 13 is the Dark Knight Metal Queen Studios Batman. This is really great simply because of the throne itself. Really elaborate, a lot of cool display options. It's actually based off of a cover I'm keeping my eye out for just to get a good 9.8 price on it. But Queen Studios Batman on Throne comes at number 13. And I know some of you are thinking, if you don't know that storyline, that doesn't make sense he'd be on a throne. It makes sense if you read the storyline. 12 is Namor, Submariner, who is such a badass. You know, this guy was an antagonist, he was a protagonist, he was a good guy, he was a bad guy, and I think this throne captures it perfectly. This is one of the most powerful mutants, arguably, you know, one of the first mutants. I like this piece a lot. I will always keep it, and it goes really well with some other pieces that we're going to look at. Number 11 is a third scale. So this is with my third scale pieces. It's Prime 1 Studio Joker, and this throne is not as amazing as some of the other ones, but the reason it's rated so high is because of the paint and sculpt. Like I said, this is one of my favorite Jokers. I actually got rid of a bunch of Jokers just to keep this one. Fantastic piece, especially with the Harley companion piece it has. Before we hit the top 10, you know you have a problem when you forget about some throne statues. So I want to talk about this Thanos on Throne that's venomized. He probably would have been in the top 10. I still own him. But I also want to talk about all the throne statues I used to own to give you perspective. Starting with this M. Bison on Throne. So all of these, for the most part, I've sold. Some just hit the table. For example, someone let me review this Magneto. And then Spec Fiction let me review this Hobbit statue. This XM Predator I think is amazing. We had a custom Power Rangers Lord Dracon. Of course, Daenerys from Game of Thrones. I had this Hellboy statue. I still have it. It's in pieces. It was destroyed in shipping. This Black Panther was from a scammer that I no longer own. Sideshow's old Emperor on Throne. And remember, I always sit on an Emperor throne. We had a custom Predator on Throne. A few Batmans. Here's one of them. This was contingency plan, old custom. A custom Loki on Throne, which I no longer own. You'll see why. A Deadpool on Throne. I really like this one. And then a recent Arkham Knight Batman on Throne as well. Running through these pretty quick. We got 10 more to go. If you could do me a favor, just hit that like button. And if you like stuff like this, make sure you've not only subscribed to the channel, but you've hit that bell notification. Number 10 is also by Queen Studios, quarter scale Batman Who Laughs. This is such a cool throne. The character itself, the little Robin minions going everywhere. I really dig this. Again, same storyline as that Batman, but this is kind of the counterpiece for it. But I like having some DC mixed up with all these Marvel pieces. Number 9 is one of the first throne pieces I got, and it still holds up today. This is an Apocalypse on Throne. This is my only Apocalypse statue, so I've always debated putting him back with my X-Men wall you always see behind me. I may do that one day. We'll figure it out, because this is, in my opinion, not only a great throne piece, but the best Apocalypse statue out there. Number 8 is a custom Doctor Doom on Throne. This is a fantastic piece. The throne itself is probably the coolest throne I have, or one of the coolest thrones I have, but the problem is you can't see the back of it, which is just beautiful artwork. This comes in at number 8. Number 7, we're going to jump from Marvel or DC to Dynamite Comics. This is Prime 1 Studios 1/3 scale Vampirella. So obviously I have her displayed with my other 1/3 vampires and werewolves instead of in the throne display. Just beautiful. This is a very beautiful piece. Not only Vampirella and her portrait, but also the ornate throne or chair she's sitting on with the bats and the cape and the skulls and the snakes. Big fan of this, coming in at number 7. Number 6 really surprised me. It's another Doctor Doom on Throne. This is a custom one. As much as I tried to justify liking the other one, the last level one, over this RCB, I like this one better. I do. For some reason, I can't figure out why, but I think this is better. Maybe it captures Doom a little bit cooler. Has some neat switch outs. Very impressed by this piece coming in at number 6. Number 5, despite some design issues with it, is this custom Null on Throne. Part of this could be my favoritism towards the character. I'm a huge Symbiote and Venom and Null fan, but this is just badass, one of the best Null statues out there. And of course, there's not a lot of options. Number 4 is this Thanos on Throne. Again, might be my favoritism towards the character. Reading all the Silver Surfer comics and Thanos quests growing up, this is his little spaceship he floated around in space in. This is a huge piece, but definitely one of my favorites. I have it set up with some Silver Surfer, Lady Death. This one is actually not on the throne wall, although it used to be. Number 3, another oldie but goodie, this Loki. What's really cool about this is not only the sinister aspect of Loki and some of the switch out options, but the throne is made up of the Avengers turned to stone. This is such a fantastic piece. It's still a highly sought after piece after 5 years, so I think that says a lot about it. Number 2 is another Thanos on Throne. I just love this. It's their own take on Thanos. He has some trophies all around him. I've added some of my own. Very cool piece. This one weighs 100 pounds. It's nuts. But to this day, it's still one of my favorite Thanos pieces and Throne pieces. But of course, not a surprise, XM Studios, Maestro on Throne, Maestro, all the trophies. That's what makes this amazing. Not to mention that this storyline is just unfrickin' believable. Unfrickin' believable is really the wrong word, but it's an amazing storyline. I highly suggest you go check it out. So those are the best Thrones. Did I miss one? Throw down in the comments below if there's a really great one I don't have in my collection. Maybe I should get it. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in for another Throne Countdown. This is the last one I will do. Well, I don't promise. What if I buy 20 new Throne statues? It could happen. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.